and welcome to another beautiful edition of Transport Line, the program that makes the difference, coming to you live from the mega city of Lagos, state of aquatic splendor and the fifth largest economy in Africa. Deliberately, in the last 3 episodes of this program, we focused on the sky blue economy, that is, aviation, because of its importance to the revival of the Nigerian economy. Today, however, we are moving away from the blue sky economy to the real blue economy, that is maritime, where the focus shall be a dialogue on a roadmap to a sustainable Nigeria blue economy. Well, we'll give you the details later. Let's take this report first on the celebration of the Seas and Oceans Day.
A committee of maritime stakeholders has been given the onerous task of mapping out strategies to develop Nigeria's blue economy. Blue economy is the use of the sea and its resources for sustainable economic development. Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administrative and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dakuku Peterside, gave the task at this year's celebration of the African Day of Seas and Oceans. The theme of the celebration is Partnership, Key to a Sustainable Blue World. Peterside noted that the world is concerned about the sustainable use of the seas and oceans as it is endowed with enormous resources, hence the need for Africa to utilize the opportunities embedded in it. Elsewhere in Lagos, the quest to have a clean inland waterway in Nigeria received a boost as the Nigerian chapter of Women in Maritime Africa, WIMA, collaborated with the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, to sensitize the public on the importance of clean seas and oceans. The day was the 25th of July, Africa Day of Seas and Oceans, as declared by the African Union, AU. Members of the Women in Maritime Africa Nigerian Wing gathered at the NIWA's Marina Jetty to clean and rid the surroundings of garbages and enlighten the ferry passengers on the environmental hazard of polluting the seas and the oceans with wastes such as plastics, nylons, papers, and cans, as well as bottles. General Secretary of Women in Africa Nigeria, McFoy Rollins, implored plastic manufacturing industries to devise means of collecting used plastics and nylons and recycle, such as a waste to wealth project.
The plastic is a major issue. When it gets to the water, it does not get rotten, it does not spoil, it remains the way it is. If you have been following the news, a few months ago, a whale swallowed some tons of plastic, and you know, these things, you might say this animal is not harmful. They help to preserve the water because the breath and all the activities make the water to be fresh. So we want to, a lot of people don't know this, especially in Nigeria.
Be aware of what is happening with our blue economy. You see, our waters has always been so dirty, and we want the awareness, we want them to clean it up for us.
General Manager of National Inland Waterways Authority in Lagos, Sambo Muazu, represented by Ngozi Okwoka, pledged the commitment of NIWA to a clean waterway. The Women in Maritime Africa were formed in 2015 to sensitize women to strive for gender equality and participation in the maritime industry, with the aim of achieving a blue economy agenda by 2063, with the belief of an ocean kept free towards a hitch-free ocean business.
Yeah, welcome back. Now that report is taking us into the business of today, which is the roadmap to a sustainable Nigerian blue economy. Okay, you will agree that fantastic resources are embedded in the seas and oceans, apart from black gold, which is commonly called crude oil. Well, there's no gainsaying the fact that we need vessels to convey these fantastic resources. As a matter of fact, 95% of import and export in Nigeria depends on shipping. Well, against this backdrop, we bring to you today our regular resource person and a respected Lloyd's Register of London, a marine surveyor and committed Nigerian maritime stakeholder, as well as Chairman, Nigerian Ship Registry Review Office Committee. Well, join me to welcome Engineer Emmanuel Ilori to the program tonight. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have been appointed Chairman of the Nigerian Ship Registry Review Committee for the past 5 months or thereabout. Now, how has it been on the job since you have been saddled with this responsibility now
I
of the review?
one thing you need to understand is that the Nigerian responsibility as a flag state, that's the Maritime Administration responsibility as a flag state, depends on the quality of ships on our register. So the function of that committee is to review that process from the business-friendly perspective, from its technical integrity perspective, and the global acceptability of the Nigerian ships, so that Nigerian ships can be proud. We can say, okay, these ships are good enough to fly the Nigerian flag. It's a very, very important task that is crucial to the Nigerian maritime industry.
Okay, should I say from your facts findings so far, what recommendation will you make for requisite improvement of the Nigerian Ship Registration Office?
It is work in progress. If you look, let me give you an example. The ships owned by the Nigerian LNG are presently not flying Nigerian flag. And that is a significant issue. But we are looking at the underlying issues, why these ships and many more are not flying Nigerian flag. There are business concerns there are technical issues there, the global acceptability, like I said, of the Nigerian flag. I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. It's a huge challenge, and then we need to unravel it so that we can attract more quality ships to the Nigerian flag. And of course, that's going to mean improvement of the maritime economy.
Now, Engineer Ilori, how does the committee now intend to tackle this challenge, huge challenge as you call it?
Well, we begin by looking at, by interrogating the system, because there are systemic issues inherent there. There are business issues inherent there. There are concerns for the financial industry. There are concerns from the survey perspective, from the design of the ships. Those are issues we are exploring. There are issues of the global perspective, where globally, how do they see the Nigerian flag? How do they see the ships on the Nigerian flag? And then we're exploring all these issues so that we can understand the challenges there and prefer long and sustainable solutions so that we can attract quality ships to the Nigerian flag. Gone are days where Nigerian flag is associated with substandard vessels. We want to eradicate that so that when a ship is carrying Nigerian flag, we can be proud that genuinely this is a Nigerian flag that is worth the money. At the moment, some companies find it difficult to give jobs to Nigerian flag vessels, quite rightly, but then we want to understand their challenges so that we can remove the challenges, and then when they present these vessels for trade, you can be sure that the money invested in them is good money that is not wasted.
Oh, beautiful. Now, beyond talking now, do you intend to attack and remedy this situation within a particular time frame? And
Well,
what is this time frame?
the committee is an implementation committee, so it's not a case of talking. No, we will identify the issues, prefer solutions, and ensure the implementation of the solutions.
Time frame for all this to be addressed?
Well, that's not for me to determine. It's for you people to judge us by the work that you see, by the result that you see. Don't forget that we're working within a system. Don't forget we will still be working within the Nigerian administrative system. So there might be challenges within the administrative system that could be issues for the committee, but I don't think that those are insurmountable challenges. But definitely, we are determined to ensure that you see quality ships on Nigerian flag.
Okay, now you would agree with me that over 3 years of the current administration now, we are here to produce a roadmap to a genuine exploration and exploitation of resources in our seas and oceans. What is the way out?
Well, we need to look at the underlying issues as well. Prior to this present administration, NIMASA had a negative image issues. I think they've been trying to address the negative perspective of their image. That's fine. But in terms of the industry, the maritime sector is the backbone of the economy. But we need to address that from the issues that prevent us from reaping the full rewards of the maritime industry. You just mentioned that 95% of trade is carried by sea, which means one way or the other, you and I, everybody on the street is affected by the shipping industry. Whether the clothes that you wear or the car that you drive, we need to accept that shipping forms part of our daily life. And whatever affects the maritime sector affects everybody. If you look at the ERGP, we were surprised to see that the maritime industry is not even mentioned in the ERGP. Why? Because it appears there's lack of understanding of the importance of the maritime sector to the economy. And this is why we need to have a paradigm shift to put the maritime sector within the heart of the economy, so that when we plan, we can take the aspect of the maritime, the carriage of the goods into and out of Nigeria into consideration.
Now, you did talk about ships flying Nigerian flag the other time. Now, I want to ask you, what is the political and economic benefits of vessels flying Nigerian flags?
Well, one, let's take the oil that we produce at the moment. There's no single Nigerian flag carrying that Nigerian oil, and it's about 10% of the freight alone is related to shipping. Think of the capital flight inherent in the carriage of our goods. All the associated maritime part of shipping goes into the foreign hands, and that could be invested back in our economy. That's money coming back into Nigeria, whereas at the moment most of the fund or the cost goes out to foreigners.
So we are losing some.
We are losing, definitely. Nigeria is losing. So we need to look at the carriage of our goods and how we can involve Nigerians in the carriage of the goods coming into and out of Nigeria and operating within the Nigerian waters.
Okay.
And we need to look again the cost, what is involved, because for goods coming to Nigeria at the moment, because of the security situation within the perceived security situation in Nigeria, there is what is called the war risk cost, whereas that should not be the situation. We need to look at the cost of all these things, because at the end of the day, it's the electorate that will pay if we do not attend to this rising cost. And I'll come to that in a minute if we have time.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Let's look at considering the ease of doing business. Some ship owners have frowned at the duplicity of agencies and favored, the strengthening of the existing ones instead. What is your view?
That is correct, because, like I said, the cost of doing business in Nigeria, and I said that earlier on, is every increase in the cost of doing business is borne by the electorate. Somebody has to pay. If the industry absorbs that cost, they will recover the cost somewhere down the line. And if, like you said before, about 95% of goods coming to this country is carried by ships. Therefore, each dollar or each naira increase in their cost of doing business has to be passed on to somebody. And it's the electorate, we the taxpayers, the common man on the street, at the end of it, ultimately will bear the burden. So therefore, we need to streamline the cost of doing business within our ports, within the maritime environment, so that it does not go up astronomically.
Okay. Now let me hear your view on this electorate involvement in all of this now.
Let's look at it this way. We have said that security is a problem. I mentioned the issue of security. And at the moment, a lot of money is spending on security. But outside there, piracy or armed robbery on ships do not just happen. They do not. They cannot launch, they cannot attack. Therefore, the security within the inland waters is the biggest challenge. Now, at the moment, we have the Nigerian police force that should be taking full responsibility of security within our internal waters. Well, at the moment, I'm not sure that they are empowered enough to take responsibility for the security within our inland waters. Therefore, we have the Nigerian Navy being saddled with added responsibility. Whereas if the internal waters were secure enough, then the burden on the Nigerian Navy for the external water, for the ocean, would have been reduced. It would have been a lot easier for them to carry out that responsibility. And don't forget that their responsibility includes the territorial preservation of territorial integrity of Nigeria. It would have been a lot easier for them if the inland waters were more secure. Therefore, I still believe that the Nigerian police force need to be strengthened enough to make sure that our inland waters are secure first and foremost. The second perspective is the type of craft plying our inland waters. We do not have control over the vessels within the inland waterway system at the moment. Therefore, if you don't know what is operating in your waters, then how are you going to manage them? And that is a big challenge for us. When we secure the inland waters, then outside water becomes a lot easier. And this so-called war risk will start to reduce because globally they pass the cost of sending ships to Nigeria onto us, the electorate.
Okay, thank you very much. And some stakeholders have always been arguing that the Navy is not needed for the safety and security of our merchant ships. What is your take on this?
Well, well, in the first instance, on the merchant ships, they are not allowed to carry arms. The threats to them, they are external to the vessel. They are operating on the waters. Who has the ability to protect the water? The Nigerian Navy. It's as simple as that. They are empowered statutorily. They carry the arms. They have the launch pads to be able to protect the vessel. So if they do not have the facility to protect the vessel, who is going to have it? They are the only ones statutorily empowered to protect our waters. Nobody else has that power.
Even local now.
Locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, on external waters. Within the internal waters here, the Nigerian Police Force has the primary responsibility. It's just like provision of security on our roads and things like the Nigerian Police Force has responsibility. When they cannot handle it, then they call on sister agencies for support. But primarily, it's still the Nigerian Police Force within the inland waters, and then the external waters, then where we have the Nigerian Navy taking responsibility. I believe the overloading of the Nigerian Navy should be reduced so that they can become more efficient, they can become better in doing what they do.
Okay, let's look at whether this Nigerian Ship Registration Office actually comply with standard global practice as it is constituted now.
Well, the compliance issue relates to our responsibility as a flag state in terms of the resolutions and the laws and the regulations that Nigeria has assigned onto through the IMO. So our vessels will need to comply with those regulations that we have signed. So it's not rocket science. But where we have non-compliance or regulation implementation that are not up to scratch, then of course we have challenges. And these are the issues that we need to look at, and then where NIMASA needs to be strengthened to be able to perform the functions very
As we
well.
speak now, we have some challenges concerning this.
Yeah,
With these challenges, are we complying?
the vessels will need to comply, and that is why, as a flag state, we need to ensure that the vessels comply.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you for the level of automation of the Nigerian Ship Registration Office, or ABI Registration Office.
I think you are peeping into some of the results of our committee. Yes, we need to begin to look at automation. We need to look at the application of information technology. We need to streamline the process. We need to make it easier for vessels to be registered. Gone are the days where it may take 6 months for a ship to be registered on our flag, whereas in some instances, within 24 hours, the vessel is registered. So, and the owner can continue their business. These are some of the issues that we are looking into to make it easy for ships to be placed on the Nigerian flag. Of course, there are various issues concerned in terms of regulation, compliance, and verification. There are legal issues, there are financial issues, there are regarding mortgages, the bank involved in the ship registration process, there are legal issues involved. But these are all issues that can be streamlined. These are process issues that can be reviewed, and then we can make sure that we streamline that process in line with global best practice.
Oh, but as it is now, the level we are now does not go in line with global best practice.
It's difficult for me to say that to you. But if there are no challenges, I don't think this committee will have been set up. The committee was set up to look at the challenges and to make sure that we have one of the best processes on the Nigerian ship register that is comparable with global best practice, and that Nigeria can stand shoulder to shoulder with their global partners, and as well as our local partners, where we can have our indigenous operators coming to Nigerian ship, put their ships on the Nigerian registry, and where those who charter these vessels will have confidence that the Nigerian vessel that they have chartered or they have engaged is of best of global quality.
So what are you recommending?
What I would recommend is there will be a lot of recommendations to improve that process. Definitely, there will be a whole raft of recommendations to improve that process, where you as a Nigerian can be proud of a Nigerian ship carrying that green, white, green flag on her bow or on her stern.
So you need lots of billions of naira or something.
It's
to
not
do all of
it's
this.
not an issue of money. No, these are all process issues. This is not issue of money.
Even including the automation stuff.
We are not talking about money
The
here.
general improvements.
We are looking about the improvement of the process, improvement of ships coming onto the Nigerian registry. It's not an issue of money. It's an issue of improvement in the processes that leads to vessel being on the Nigerian register.
Now you have been the chairman of the committee on the review of ship registration, so to speak. Now, do you see that there's political will on the part of the government to actually assist your committee to achieve, or to tackle these challenges that are confronting you?
When you are operating within a system, you need to understand that you're operating within a system. There might be challenges within that system, but I don't think anybody will have set up this committee if they do not identify there are challenges, if they do not think that we are competent enough to provide the solutions and implement the solutions. So I'm not convinced that there's no political will. And don't forget that this is the very first time that they'll say, okay, we have a challenge, bring in those who understand the sector to address the challenges. And those who are in the committee, it's not a large committee, it's a very compact committee where we are able to move very swiftly through the various processes. And I'm not convinced that this government don't have the political will to implement the solutions.
Engineer Lori, we are going now very soon, but I want you to just tackle this question. How will your committee now help in increasing revenue coming from that sector? Quickly.
Well, the important thing is that you say quality ships get quality money. We have invested billions of dollars buying ships, but these ships are not performing. But when we improve the quality of ships on Nigerian register, they will be able to attract quality contracts, and by having quality contracts, of course, they will have better money.
And we increase the revenue
Definitely.
of the
Exactly.
Nigerian. Okay, thank you very much. We've been speaking with Engineer Ilori, a Lloyd's Register of London, who has been our guest tonight, and we have been discussing a sustainable Nigerian blue economy. Well, that's why we wrap it up on the program tonight. Please join us to do it together next time. But before then, strive towards a better Nigeria. It shall be well with our country, Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. Have a wonderful time, and meet you next week. Bye for now.